whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Baby, yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up. Baby,
feel the groove, get on the floor.
on the floor. Get on up, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank y'all for tuning in. I know I am late. Uh, we don't really start this show that late. Uh, but unless I have something that comes up, which tonight I did, I had a show I had to do, so I was racing over here and to get on the live, which is why I kept pushing back. So I'm sorry if people were up waiting at the normal time. I put it all in the live stream when I go live in the description. It should say the time that that's going to be on. And even though it's so late, Shawn can't even be on the show tonight. But that's fine. We've written the show solo before. But Shawn, I think, is in the chat. Let me ask him. I'm going to just send a quick invite if he could just come on for a few minutes just to show his face. I don't want him all here all night. But if he wouldn't mind, Shawn, just coming in just for a little bit, I'd appreciate it. Shout out to him. What's up, Tina Ferguson? What's up, Darius? Darius, how you been, man? I got a lot I want to get into tonight. Of course, we all like to have fun and do great things. Uh, Speaking of which, I got a comedy show coming up on the 23rd. I'm going to make an announcement with that. But I also have a show that's coming up at this Saturday. It's called Wait What? That's that's the name of the actual show. I didn't name it. The Wait What comedy show at the Howlin' Wolf. That's actually where I came from. Let me see if I'm trying to pull up the flyer for y'all right now. This is it's a drinking stand-up comedy show. That's $7. So why don't y'all call in? It's at the Howlin' Wolf. If you're available this Saturday at 8, this is the actual flyer for it. If you're in the New Orleans area, I know people that are here in Louisiana, come on out and enjoy, all right? Wait, what comedy show? So it's gonna be a great show. I can't wait. It's a built-in drinking game. So y'all, we're gonna have a good time and laugh it up. So shout out to Computer Robots, everybody that's decided to stay late with me. I want to get something out the way. A couple of things. First off, what's the topic? We're gonna get to our topic, and also this Black History moment, ladies and gentlemen, is reminding you all 365 days is Black. So each week, I did the lawyers this past week, and technically, this is still lawyers, but it's politicians, and we're looking at. I did something earlier this week where I posted about the black mayors of New Orleans and Atlanta, respectively, Maynard Jackson uh, and Dutch Morial. And this week, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, our Black History moment is on none other than another black mayor who made a first, Harold Washington. Harold Washington was was elected the 51st mayor of Chicago, who was a lawyer and politician, and he was also the first Black American to be elected as mayor of the city of Chicago. And unfortunately for him, his tenure in office was short lived as he passed away uh, within his first term on November 25th, 1987, due to a heart attack. Now, uh, Washington served in the Army, I believe, according to uh, this report. He was in World War II during the bombing, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, which is why when he got involved, uh, he served 3 years and his highest rank was a first sergeant. He was married previously to a Dorothy Finch, but then started dating a Mary Ellis Smith. He had no children, but Maynard Jackson's, I'm sorry, Maynard Jackson, Harold Washington even though his tenure was short, his legacy and impact was still felt, especially among the Black community there in Chicago. Uh, he tried to, and I should have had Harvard come on because Harvard would have done this, but uh, in his second tenure, so he ran again, was in the process of running again in 1987 when he defeated Ed, I don't even know how to pronounce this last name, Voidelak. Vodilac, about 55% to become mayor of Chicago again. So this was his reelection. So basically, he was in office for about 4 years, a little over 4 years, at the time of his passing. So he won in 1983 to become mayor, and we know sometime on November 25th he died due to a heart attack. Now, many people have been forced to believe, some in shock, that Washington was assassinated. And they even talk about this here because some people said that, and Dick Gregory has even said this, that his orange juice was poisoned uh, back in at the time of his death. And I don't know about all of that, but it could be true. We know that. The truth is stranger than fiction. So rumors had circulated. Dr. Antonio Sinat, who was Washington's personal physician, denied unfounded speculations that Washington had cocaine in his system at the time of death or that foul play was allowed. The county medical examiner, Robert Stein, performed an autopsy and found that Washington had died of a heart attack. It stated that he weighed 285 pounds at the time of death, suffered from hypertension, high cholesterol, and an enlarged heart. But a lot of people have opposed this theory. Now, what's interesting was that Washington's opponent in the 1983 general election died 18 days later on November 13th, 1987. They stated that the only drug in Washington's system was lidocaine, which is used to stabilize the heart after a heart attack takes place. But nevertheless, Harold Washington's impact is felt in the Chicago area. So rest in peace to Harold Washington. And this is your 365 Black History moment, ladies and gentlemen. Now, one of the topics I want to talk about too, because I love music, is that we celebrate, or at least more in the passing, I should say, and celebrate the life, though, of legendary composer Burt Bacharach. Bacharach, who was a pop songwriter collaborating with Hal David often, died at the age of 93 this evening and earlier this morning. So we go to the news lately here on Entertainment Weekly. And Burt Bacharach, just so if you look at his career, well, I said he was 93. He was actually 94. And he was known for collaborating with Hal David, but also his songs, their impact, of course, was felt because they were sung by Dionne Warwick. That's the artist he wrote his hit songs for. Bacharach discovered Warwick in 1961, according to this article from the Entertainment Weekly. As we go here, I'm going to share with everybody. Bacharach, the legendary six-time Grammy-winning pianist, who died Wednesday at the age of 94. Warwick said in a statement, Burt's transition is like losing a family member. These words I've been asked to write are being written with sadness over the loss of my dear friend and my musical partner. Bacharach is widely considered one of the most influential composers of the 20th century. He wrote hundreds of pop songs with his collaborator and lyricist Hal David, including Herb Alpert's "This Guy's in Love with You," The Carpenters' "They Long to Be Close to You," and Rod Stewart's "That's What Friends Are For." That was actually the number one song at the time of my birth, believe it or not, in 1986, when Dionne Warwick, Stevie Wonder, Elton John, and Gladys Knight did a cover of that song. Song had actually been out, I think, since 1982. There was a old movie called Night Shift that starred, for those that don't know 80s history, that starred the Fonz, Henry Winkler, and Michael Keaton, and who's the Shelley Long. She played. I was about to call her Diane. She was Diane from Cheers. But that song was when that come from. But Warwick was discovered by Bacharach, which is interesting, during a Drifter's recording session of Mexican Divorce. He and David would go on talking about how Burt was talking about how David would go on and write hits like for Warwick, such as "Don't Make Me Over," "Anyone Who Had a Heart Walk On By," "Alfie, I Say a Little Prayer," and "Do You Know the Way to San Jose." One of my favorite songs he did was actually "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head," and I don't know the rest of it. I just know the theme. But rest in peace to him. 94 years old. That's a blessing. So Burt Bacharach, ladies and gentlemen, that's what friends are for. And, I can't play some of the songs, but one song I do like that was made famous. That version, and you wouldn't think it would, but the version of "Walk On By" that Isaac Hayes does. I mean, Dionne Warwick. It was Dionne Warwick's song, but Isaac Black Moses took it over. Black Moses took it over. Hold on a second. So I just get these alerts on my phone because I get sports alerts as well. So they just announced who were in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Uh, yeah, Joe Thomas from the Cleveland Browns, Darrell Revis Island, DeMarcus Ware. Remember him from the Cowboys. Rondé Barber from the Bucks, and Zach Thomas. Yeah. So Devin Hester didn't make it. Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, Dwight Freeney, and Jared Allen didn't make it. That's a shot. Yeah, Joe Thomas was a great uh, tackle, man. He only gave up 30 sacks in his career. Yeah, but I can't play the song, but just hearing it, just when you hear that, all right, let me stop. That's one of the best. Just the instrumentation that Isaac Hayes puts. That's just great. But rest in peace to Burt Bacharach, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to get into though. It's all jokes aside and so forth. I needed to get into this next thing because it had been irked. Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna show you all, especially leave a chat in the comment. Let me see who's here. We got more people in here. I know we do. YouTube be tripping with the numbers, but I know we got more people. I'm gonna show you all the level of hate and a vitriol why we can't get along in our communities with this next topic. But I'm gonna deal with it. What's going on with Tariq Nasheed and Taharka Bay, excuse me, and tying in with taking some fools to the foolshed. And I'm going to explain why I mean by that. So earlier today, now bear in mind, I don't know, and I don't care for not Tariq Nasheed care for, and I'm in every celebrity's life. I'm not. I'm not in people's lives. Tariq Nasheed don't run my life. Notice Taharka Bay, or whatever his name is. Takara Bay. Taharka Bay, whatever. They don't pay my rent, they don't pay my bills, but I listen to Tariq. I listen to Judge Joe Brown. I listen to Shawn James. I listen to the Dana with the Data and Nicole and so forth, and the Black Authority, all of them. I listen to them because you can get something and learn something out of it. Now, I believe apparently what has been going on Twitter was that earlier today, out in Los Angeles, Taharka Bay flew out from Baltimore, apparently to get at Tariq Nasheed at his Hidden History Museum, and reportedly was taking a camera and recording it. Now, I don't know, and I haven't watched them all fairness, all the details. I saw video footage of, or what was clips that Tariq had posted on Twitter. And I saw it likewise, and I'm gonna talk about the food in a second. But I saw it on someone's Facebook post. But this is what went viral.
Yo, that bitch Taharka Bay just came up here to the museum. Shout out to the security up here. Shout out to his brother here. I just slapped the shit out of Taharka Bay. All right? Did you see me slap the shit out of him? I just slapped the shit out of Taharka Bay and ran him the fuck up out of here. Yo.
All right, so Tariq admitted he slapped this man. And apparently he took video of him leaving.
Yo, that bitch ass nigga Taharka Bay right there. Yo, that bitch nigga Taharka Bay just got slapped. Yo, that bitch ass nigga Taharka Bay right there.
Now there's video footage on the street, though it's grainy, but I believe that's Tariq there. That's Taharka Bay. And this is out in Los Angeles. And that's when Tariq had slapped him. Now, Tariq was claiming self-defense. And some other people there are some people who obviously don't go along with that theory. Now, let me say this. I don't really know, because I don't have all the facts and details other than what I have seen on Twitter. Basically, I've gotten two different versions of the story. And yes, you do see the video footage of him, of altercation, it seems, that did take place. And Tariq Nasheed admit, yes, I slapped him. He's also saying it's self-defense. His self-defense, of course, we've already talked about that, occurs when you believe or reasonably believe you meet force with force. If there is a threat that's coming towards you and you're suspected threat will cause great bodily injury or death or likelihood, which of course this is not a deadly force case, then you can use meet force with force. However, it depends on the circumstances and what a DA or cop would see here in this video footage. And I got to be careful. I don't practice out in Los Angeles. I'm not familiar per se with the laws, but I believe they're all generally speaking, when it comes to self-defense, the principle of it is essentially the same. Now, there's a 21-minute video, I believe, that I have heard that's going around it, of Taharka Bay, where he describes what happened. And he had, which is a camera, a body cam that he was wearing at the time of it. And someone told me that he was actually across the street, but was never bothering Tariq. I don't know what happened. Now, I saw the video cameras there. There were video cameras around, obviously, when Tariq took that first video of him, when he exclaimed that he slapped the shit out of Taharka Bay. You saw cameras there. And I just find it interesting, this is me, that a man, now of course it's a free country, you can fly out and go wherever you want. But did he really fly out from Baltimore to Los Angeles just to antagonize Tariq Nasheed? or to take pictures of the man. I don't understand that. But you might find out
Big
more
Rick
later.
in the house. Gonna tear his motherfucking head off. Big Rick in the house. Gonna tear his motherfucking head off.
This is somebody else's stuff.
And I know he ain't left town. I done checked his flights. It's 8:20, so he around here somewhere watching. We see you. Come on through. You know me. What's up? Big Rick in the house. Gonna tear his
Now, I will say this, and especially out of abundance of
motherfucking head
caution,
off. If I catch him out here slipping, and I know.
it is not wise. Don't ever, ladies and gentlemen, I will say this. Don't ever go on Instagram after a violent act that makes you punch somebody or shot somebody. If you say that, the police are listening and watching, they're gonna come and get you, or they should. Now you got that Chris Rock Will Smith treatment. Now, unless you're Will Smith, obviously you can do that on live TV and get away with it. What's up, Kid Gravity? How we doing, brother? $3,000 miles. That's funny. And y'all got to be careful too, because this is another thing. How I will say this, if I have any critique, this sadly shows how far some of us will go to bring down one another. That we can't, especially in our community, agree to be disagreeable without being violent, without being emotional, without being angry. If he was just taking pictures, and my understanding, he didn't go inside the museum. I don't know, and I don't think the museum is even open yet. In and of itself, it's not criminal. Now, if he was harassing the man, if he had put hands on Tariq or gotten his personal space, and I think Tariq put a video up here. This next video, this is from what he says Taharka Bay's video that was up.
And so when I'm in the front, Tariq swings around in like a black Denali. And I don't really talk about this type of stuff, but since he said it, I'm gonna call it out. So he swings around in a black Denali. So I walks up to his truck. When he swings around, I walks up to his truck. I say, oh yeah. You ready to talk about this like a man? And he said, what you doing in front of my place? And I backed up a little bit. I said, and so when I'm in the front, Tariq swings around in like a black Denali. And I don't really talk about this type of stuff, but since he said it, I'm gonna call it out. So he swings around in a black Denali. So I walks up to his truck. When he swings around, I walks up to his truck. I say, oh yeah. You ready to talk about this like a man? And he said, what you doing in front of my place? And I backed up a little bit. I said, and so
he says he saw Tariq and then
when I'm in the front, Tariq swings around in like a black Denali. And I don't really talk about this type of stuff, but since he said it, I'm gonna call it out. So he swings around in a black Denali. So I walks up to his truck. When he swings around, I walks up to his truck. I say, oh yeah. You ready to talk about this like a man? And he said, what you doing in front of my place?
Okay. Now, all that aside, well, I don't have, of course, the whole, and have not listened to the whole video, and maybe that will provide context. But if we're listening to when it happened, and obviously Tariq copied, he edited and cut 41 seconds out, which showed Taharka Bay says, "You ready to talk about this like a man?" So he came to his place, it seems, and I don't know what's in his heart, but it seems to be antagonistic, or at least to, from listening to it, he certainly wanted to have some type of altercation of some sorts with Tariq Nasheed. And I'm understanding that Tariq, from what I've heard at this point, he's being sued, which is not by some guy named Brandon. I had heard, which doesn't surprise me when people are, when people have money, are successful, the more you become, especially if you do contracts, if you say things, people will sue you. And I don't know his whole details. I don't follow his whole life like talking about it. I am not Nasheedian or Tariqite, as some people would say. Now, I want to say all of that because there are people I know who I'm cool with, who I love, who don't necessarily care for Tariq Nasheed, and that's fine. You're not going to agree with everybody you love. You're not going to agree with, I didn't agree with my mother and father. My mother and father, I've told you this, don't agree with my stand up comedy. They don't care for it. Shawn has come on this platform many times, and he and I have disagreed. Judge Joe Brown is someone I've disagreed with constantly. I didn't care for his thoughts about Michael Jackson. It's like what my brother Ron Hurt and I talk about. He said sometimes, the judge, he gets things, he says the wrong things at the right time, and vice versa. He says the right things at the wrong time. So the judge, he could be like a broken clock. He's gonna get the right time at least once, even though he might be off. But you take some truth from it. Same thing when I listened to Dana with the Data, as I was talking to y'all earlier, and a Black Authority. But tonight, I got, and speaking of dealing with this part, to coincide the next topic, I got to take some fools to the foolshed tonight. I got to talk about something because I was on Facebook when I saw this, and in particular, a certain punk ass decided he wanted to make things personal with me. Now, I'm going to show you all what I'm talking about in a second. But let me say this. Yeah, it's silly that these two grown men are doing this. Yeah, they both. One's in his damn near in his 50s. The other one looks like he's in his almost approaching the 70s doing this. At least in his at least in his early 60s. But let me say this. I've noticed. So he has this. Tariq Nasheed has this hidden history museum that many people, some were criticizing him, didn't think he was going to do it. He did create it. And even with him creating it, there are people who are still criticizing him because he's stating that it's not the museum we wanted. It's not what he had. The building is. He didn't build this. And there are people that are just this fucking upset. These are people that are just obsessed with it. Now, this is the website, and it's set to open on February 25th. The Hidden History Museum. Now, I donated money, and even the people that are criticizing it have donated some money because I thought this was a great thing, a great project. And he did open it, of course, what they're talking about, and I'm going to explain who the fools are. But in particular, three in particular, the asshole, I want to talk about Jason Reed, his hood rat wife, and Wesley, yes, whatever the fuck your name is, you decided to go personal with me today. So tonight, and I hope you're watching, I've decided I'm going to make it personal with you. See, I don't get back and forth with people, ladies and gentlemen, on Facebook because you're not going to accomplish nothing when you do that. But here, I was asking some questions. So this is the video, the person I've seen from Jason Reed, who I don't know personally, don't care to know. But I remember and saw him because he was on. I remember, I I distinctly remember there was a time when he was basically riding with Tariq Nasheed, and this is coming from someone who I'm not a Tariq Nasheed, as I said, a disciple, if you want to use those words. That's not who I am. As I said, I look for the truth in all things. And y'all can read this post, but this is what he's talking about, the incident, which he calls assaulted. He says Tariq Nasheed admits to assaulting another black man simply for coming out to his liquor store. Oops, I mean Hidden History Museum. Now, what he's talking about by that line, by the way, is because it's been what I've seen from comments on Facebook is Tariq is opening up his museum, I believe, for parties and venues, and they're doing uh, hosting events, things of that nature. I've even seen it on Marvelous Melvin. Shout out to that brother. But he goes in, as you can read, calling him an emotional female and meant to assault someone. Now, that aside, I didn't know all the details about it. And then Wesley Yelsu, with his cockeyed ass in that picture right there. I'm going to deal with all three of you tonight because I made a comment. Now, this was the comment that you can read. So you wanted to be a star. I'm going to make you a star for all the wrong reasons. Oh, I'm going to go there. I asked him, and I was respectful. I said, aside from this incident, and I've seen Tariq Nasheed's Twitter video and don't know all the facts behind what happened, but why do you seem so obsessed with anything Tariq Nasheed and going in on him? Even with the museum, I saw one of your posts where you were mocking it because the museum didn't look like the initial designs. The museum was still created, it was still built. And he says, it was built. Are you sure about that? And Wesley, I guess his little cheer boy, decided to come in. Tariq is a public figure, and viewers have the right to give their take on the foolishness public figures partake in. Commenting online pretending to public figures is not an obsession. What is it? It's like and Jason comments, it's like I exposed them to the truth about their daddy, like I told them he sucked dick for crack. And I said, according to the website, the museum is set to open. It may not be what was exactly planned, but it's set. I didn't say, I'm speaking to Wesley, you couldn't critique someone. Even you talk about the same, even though you may talk about the same person or thing, even when you talk about the same person or thing, 90% of the time or more, it appears one track. And then his wife, Shantae, decided to roll in and says, his big head wife decided to come in and said, if he built that museum, then me buying some grapes from the store will be considered building a vineyard. Are you really an attorney? And I asked her, what's the relevance of asking that? Yeah, I said, I'm just making sure because I got little ass 4-year degree, and it didn't take me long to figure out the finesse. But you have more education than me, and you seem to have fallen for this. Y'all ever notice how people like Gavin never call TBA obsessed with Roland Martin when they keep doing the broadcast about what he's doing, but they jump up on my post calling me obsessed? Because you are, nigga. What man stay on the same person? This is not me defending Tariq. But you and Wesley, I'm about to go and I'm about to pull up some receipts in a second. You are talking about the same man, and your entire post, the whole freaking thing I've seen in your timeline that I've been on Facebook has to do with Tariq Nasheed, at least 90% of it. So when it came up again, like a mature man, like men act, and I'm calling you out like a man, not on YouTube, not on Facebook, hiding behind a post, and not having my wife say shit about somebody, another man. I'm stepping to you like a man talking right now. Everybody can see me. Because you two decided you want to go personal. And Wesley, you the same way. So I respond in kind. I have an opinion, and so do others. And frankly, I could care less what you, or as you've put it, your little ass 4-year degree. Yeah, we know exactly what she did with that. It's not a damn thing. It's just a diploma collecting dust. Think of me. I haven't disrespected you or your husband, Jason Reed, but you subtly try to diss me. I asked the question about his post, and mature adults stay on topic and try not to insult others. I'm not part of any cult, but I'm not butthurt over someone unfriending me on social media either. And as far as TBA and calling in his show, which was more entertaining, diverse in subject matters than this entire Facebook post. Clearly, since you know I can call in, you listen all the time to the show, I guess you like him too. And Wesley, who is talking about Tariq being their leader? He's no more my leader than Al Sharpton. Worry about your damn self and your accomplishments. Now, he then goes on and calls me a little sis, says, you could care less, and yet your little sissy ass is on my post. I hate to tell you this. You all have become a fucking joke. No, you the fucking joke. You calling me a sissy, and you calling me a sissy, and you got the damn, and you got the Billy Porter look. Really, fuck nigga? Y'all ain't got nothing else to talk about. Look at this. And I don't know who this fool is. He doesn't even have a picture. Butch Rick, yeah. Yeah, I see why with that fucked up name like that. And then you want to talk about me being an attorney. You say, obviously, you know how to pass tests, but you lack the critical thinking skills when it comes to getting tricked out of money. Well, at least I don't waste my money on a degree like you just admitted. I didn't waste my freaking degree. I earned my shit and I worked. And I want y'all to pay attention to this because these are the type of these three stooges are the reason why black people can't get shit. These are the same people. This is the people that really hold you back. You know why I say that? Because when you try and accomplish something, when you do something, there's always some hater that wants to tear you down. And I hope you're listening. You can fucking listen to it. You cursing me out through Facebook. I could curse you out right here. And it's gonna stay on here. My face is on this shit. I don't hide behind a freaking post. My wife don't wear the pants in the fucking family. I don't let my wife go out talking to a man like that. Having me fight my battles. I have my woman fight for me. And I haven't heard shit about y'all, but you want to go there. You see, I was a gentleman. I'm still a gentleman. But this is the stuff you deal with. And you go and look on this Buck Negro's page. Look, this is all he's posting 2 hours ago. The sister called him Bussy Reek and his father Bussy Reek. This is all he has. Punk ass. And I'm a sissy. Yeah, you a fucking beta male. And you served in the Navy? That fucking Navy, a sailor letting his wife fight for him. See, that's how you curse somebody. This is how you curse somebody. Fuck you. That's a curse word. That's how I do it. Punk ass. I'm dealing with a punk. We deal with punks. I'm taking some fools to the woodshed. That's what happened. These three fools. And let me go back because I got to go back and talk about Wesley since Wesley wanted to do some shit. Because you went in on my brother Marvelous Melvin's Facebook post congratulating Tariq. Now, Melvin is out in Los Angeles. And Melvin congratulated Tariq for opening the museum. And let me just school everybody on something. And I'm not familiar with the particulars of how he got his museum together, what he did, and so forth, why it doesn't look like the concept art that he had. Because what everybody was looking at, the concept art that he had, no, that was hood rat behavior from his wife. That was hood rat behavior. And I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, I know I don't ever attack somebody's family, but no, fuck it. She can get it because you went at me and decided to attack me personally. And I'm not going to get too much because my hands are clean and I'm not going to dig through this trash because that's all they are. They're trash, and someone talking like that, dude, that's trashy. I didn't insult your husband, but your husband should be a man and talk to me if he's got a problem with it. Now, this is the picture that they're talking about. This is what the Hidden History Museum was like. And this was the concept, if my understanding serves me correctly.
Greetings, family.
This is what they where he wanted to put it at.
I'm your History Museum right here in the Leimert Park area of Los Angeles, which is the cultural epicenter of Black Los Angeles. Right here on Crenshaw Boulevard, right here, there's an empty lot for sale, and it's in the perfect location for our Hidden History Museum. We want to acquire this lot so that we can build your community museum.
Now, that's a big lot. Now, I'm not familiar with Los Angeles real estate, but Marvelous Melvin, some of my people up in Los Angeles know that the area is real estate is very expensive. Who's not going to be on? Honestly, I don't like these three are going to be look like. I don't understand your comment, computer robots. Yeah, it's text mode. These are beta males. These are the niggas that sit on the corner. I'm gonna tell you right now. They sit on the corner when everything's going on, criticizing the problems, but don't do a damn thing to fix it. They sit on their butts and do nothing. Let me tell you about what I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. What I'm doing in a second, what I have done. But let's focus on this. This is the lot he had. Now, this is what I think everybody's talking about because Tariq raised $1.1 million essentially by 11,000 backers, 11,047 backers. All right. And this was the concept he had.
Right here, there's an empty lot for sale, and it's in the perfect location for our Hidden History Museum. We want to acquire this lot so that we can build your community museum. There's museums that touch on Black history, but they don't get too deep into it. This will be the first.
No, they're not going to show up to the live stream because they're trolls. But the point is, I wanted to show something because I'm not going to tolerate this shit. I needed to go. No, I needed to speak on this because I'm not going to allow anybody. I know who I am, but I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me like that. And let me just say this. You look at this, the comments here. I'm going to get out of here, but this is the concept of what Tariq Nasheed was talking about. And he put this museum together. Now, the fact of the matter is, it's not the same, obviously, what he had in the concept art and what he was delivering in this. And I'm not defending him, and I don't know everything about the ins and outs of what his business is. But let me just show you all. Melvin Wesley was commenting on Brother Melvin's Facebook post congratulating Tariq. And he wanted to criticize him. He said, my views and opinions on Tariq have changed as of recently. If I may respectfully give props as well as honest criticism, I can't front. He said he wanted to get a museum. Looks like it's happening. I respect the man going through with his promises. He has the building and he has a date lined up for the soft grand opening. Soft grand opening, okay. The building he purchased is not the concept that he presented to his donors while we were raising the money. Not only that, when I set my money, I didn't donate for a building to hold karaoke night, stand-up comedy hour, or happy hour. Needless to say, once artifacts and history is installed into the building, I still want to visit and check it out. Museums, okay. So he obviously hasn't been to a museum. So let me give you all some culture. When you go in to a museum, or if you've ever been to a museum, they will host private events. Okay? They will host private events for different parties. They do things like this to raise, and it's done mostly to raise money because there are nights and times and points in time in the day where the museums are open. They have parties that they throw, like out in City Park, where they have the New Orleans Art Museum. They have the events for schools, not just art, but also even some social events. Different museums do things like that. Wesley, when he brought all of this up, Jack, shout out to Jack, even said museums do hold events, which is true. And Marvelous Melvin said, you have your opinion, and that's what it is. You're entitled to it. I'm a Los Angeles resident, though, and I happen to know how difficult it is to purchase property even when you have the funds, especially in the Crenshaw area where Black people face different obstacles that span beyond capital in acquiring commercial real estate or property in general. I will add that even in Beverly Hills, there are art galleries, museums, and exhibitions that will hold functions that have happy hour, karaoke, live events, and more. Also, it's his business and he can run it how he wants. You and I are in no position to tell people how they should run their establishment. If it's something you can't stand behind or support, then just don't. Exactly. You gave the money. I gave money. Guess what? I'm going to go there and check it out. And I ain't got to be best. I'm not buddied up with Tariq Nasheed. He, like I said before, he's not my end. First off, the repulsive comments that you made, especially when you talked about my daddy, or if you talk about their daddy. No, I got a daddy. My father is Leon Richard, which was an insult in and of itself. Like you think I need a father figure to look up to. I got one that's alive already. He ain't my internet daddy. No more than Al Sharpton is my reverend. And you were going in and people were calling him out for it. The Getty Museum in LA, yeah, they serve alcohol. I mean, we have a Black History Museum in New Orleans, art museum, right off Esplanade. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go there. We used to have meetings up in there. Museums aren't open all the time, so sometimes they'll hold and host events so they can get money. And yeah, and regarding the real estate and why the idea of it is not the same, and basically, like he said, it was a concept idea. It wasn't the exact. It, and the brother right here explains it. He gave a concept picture. It's like when you build a house, when you build a house, and you have a blueprint. Now, his blueprint, what he got a different area for the museum. He probably couldn't. He probably did not. This is my opinion because I don't know all the facts, but I'm just guessing. He probably could not secure that lot for the funding for it, even though it was a commercial lot, despite the fact having money. Because if my memory serves me correctly, the owner of the property, I believe, did try to sell it to him, but I believe the city of Los Angeles, the city council in particular, tried to prevent it. I could be wrong, but that has happened. And I think Melvin alluded to the fact that it's hard, as he stated here, for a Black man to own, especially if they say, I'm going to dedicate this to Black people own. Look, we have a city council already. It's been proven that is racist towards Black people. They admitted it. They were caught on tape. They were caught on tape making disparaging remarks about Black people. And comments of scrutiny towards being multifaceted in areas of proven interest for my people seems to be suppressive and anti-imagination inclusiveness. Props to Brother Tariq for responding to my concerns or his brand lacking to institutions of legacy, and also for adding potential for expansion, which is another. He could possibly expand. So, long story short, Wesley decided to take a shot at Tariq and others, and just he took a shot at me today. But just this past week, he was praising for doing the museum, and then you threw shots at it. Well, it's not what he stated. No, what really happened, Kick Gravity, was I was just, to paraphrase what Computer Robots is saying, Jason Reed and the rest of his hood rats, just that they're freaking trolls. These are the people that kill hope. These are the people that do nothing with their lives and got nothing better to do than to attack someone else. They put nothing towards helping the Black community. What have they done? I can tell you they haven't have a resume. They don't have a resume like me. And to question, let me just put this to rest, especially since people want to question who I am. As an attorney, first off, as an attorney, I've done countless hours of pro bono work. I have helped keep Black men and women out of jail. I've gotten records expunged. I've gotten cases dismissed in one of the most conservative parishes in the state of Louisiana. I have traveled all across this state to help others, and especially my people. I've actually spent time with 100 Black men, mentoring young Black males to be better men, giving out supplies to for the poor and less fortunate, giving money, putting food on the table and clothes on people's backs. What the hell have you done? Not a damn thing. Bunch of damn hood rats. They wouldn't sell, and as the brother Melvin alludes here, they wouldn't sell him the property, which, and I can tell you as a realtor, oh, that's another title. And guess what? Mrs. Reed, I didn't waste a degree on that. I didn't waste my time on that. When you sell property, and I'm not here riding for Tariq. Tariq Rashid don't pay my rent. But as I stated, I'm fair. I listen to see what the truth is. If he even had the money to buy the lot, if someone don't want to sell it to you, just like you say, it's your husband's Facebook post, yeah, just like, and guess what? Others have a right to respond. If you don't want nobody commenting, then I suggest you don't post. But Melvin to go to Wesley, Tariq Nasheed, apparently, let me just do this too while I'm at it, because I don't have any interest in talking with him either. That's not a friend. Apparently, Melvin was there firsthand, and he said they wouldn't sell it to him. He spoke with him. So I think there's some truth to what he's saying. But but I'm going to say that these are the type of people, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to deal with, because these are the people that kill hope. Now he's talking about fuck boys who are single mothers raised by fuck boys, which I'm not. You all know I'm not, but okay. As long as it makes his dick hard. He hasn't recovered from TVA unfollowing him. Yeah. Not just TVA, Tariq going in on him as well for being a non-FBA. And let me address that too. I don't really get into all of that either about who's FBA, who's non, although I understand merits behind, especially to Tariq's point, and even not just Tariq's point, but just in general about immigrants that come in here who look like us but don't stand with us. Because I witnessed it firsthand when I was at Southern. We had an African professor whose name escapes me now, but he had every negative, and I kid you not, I didn't take his class, but I knew about it from people, my fellow classmates who were there. But there was this one teacher that was there, and he had absolutely nothing negative to say. Nothing positive to say. Everything was negative about black men in America. It was just bad. You can't do this. You are lazy. It was that. You are lazy. You do not try hard. You do bum clot can't do nothing. You do nothing. But that's that's the foolishness we deal with, and why we can't move the race forward. It's because there's so much infighting about something. We should be We should be happy. Hey, it didn't take. He has the museum, and a year that he put this up versus 10 years or 12 years waiting on a school, if you know who I'm talking about. He at least did something. I give credit where credit is due. Now, if there's any truth, if he's did anything illegal, unethical, and I don't know anything about that regarding this in altercation that happened, guess what? The authorities will be the ones that look into that. And I actually want, if that is the case, then the court system should deal with it. The justice system shall deal with it if he did anything unethical. If I'm sorry, if he did anything illegal. Yeah, that's how it works. But why don't you do yourself a favor? Worry about your accomplishments, or rather the lack thereof, and how you've wasted your life, and try and think of what I can do better that's not only going to just uplift myself, but it's going to uplift my community. Because that's the only way things are getting done. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. And I don't have to brag about, the accomplishments that I had. I don't have to brag about all of that stuff. People I've helped. God knows what I've done. That's what matters at the end of the day. What he knows, not what not what your hood rat, or your other, all your other termites, all of you all think about. And I'm serious. And I don't care if you got something to say. Yeah, you know how to message me on Facebook. If you got a problem, but don't come at me personally, man. If don't you come at me because you fucked up in your life. Worry about yourself. That's the problem. Worry about your goddamn self. Well, I'm finished with that. And I don't care if anybody gets mad with me. So what? I had to edit out because I'm not gonna. And This is another thing too. I want y'all to learn. When you're on Facebook, don't argue with people like this because you commenting back and forth as you saw, especially on that last Facebook page, and they got like 96 or 96 or 100 replies. That means you're not gonna win with these people like that. See, I could have gone back on Facebook and commented and ethered all of them like that and then walked off. But I came on YouTube because number one, I'm not on your platform, I'm on mine. And mine is a lot bigger than yours. My microphone is a lot louder than yours. And my fan base is a lot loyal than yours. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't have any fans. That's right. Excuse me. Now, I've spent almost 40 minutes or better talking about this. Well, it was really two topics, but talking about all of this together. But I had to get that out and off my chest. So I only got one last topic for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about. But I had to take the fools to the fool shed. That's the new thing, because these are fools. But don't argue with people like this on Facebook, because you won't have an argument, and this is how you learn. Be intelligent, because all of that, what you saw back and forth, that was emotionalism, right? Am I right? That was emotions. And this ain't about me defending no Tariq Nasheed. I've already stated my position, but I'm not going to get up and condemn the man and throw rocks at him. He's not my life. Fix your issues. You wanted the smoke? I brought the fire. Now, I brought the damn forest fire. No offense to my family in California. I don't mean to offend you if I did with that. But that's what I have to deal with this. So, last thing I want to talk about tonight. We know what's going on. Nobody, as I talked about the State of the Union on Tuesday, there of course was a response. There's always a State of the Union by the president. I think this was his second State of the Union, and they do it usually around this time. It's usually January, or February, and now when when Congress comes in, especially after the Christmas holiday, and now there was also the response to that. Now, how many of you all seen this now? Marjorie Taylor Greene, who came out looking like the polar bear from the Coca-Cola commercials, shouted out and called the president a liar during his speech when President Biden was speaking. Now, we remember they did this even to Barack Obama when you had a representative call him a liar on the floor of Congress when he was talking about Medicaid. But we're going to play this. This is from CBS News.
My administration has cut the deficit by more than $1.7 trillion, the largest deficit reduction in American history. Under the previous administration, the American deficit went up 4 years in a row. Because those record deficits, no president added more to the national debt in any 4 years than my predecessor. Nearly 25% of the entire national debt that took over 200 years to accumulate was added by just one administration alone, the last one. They're the facts. Check it out. Check it out. How did Congress respond to that debt? They did the right thing. They lifted the debt ceiling 3 times without preconditions or crisis. They paid American bills to prevent an economic disaster to the country. So tonight I'm asking the Congress to follow suit. Let's commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned. So some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
all right. So Marjorie Taylor Greene called Joe Biden a liar on the floor of Congress, and then she responded on Cox News.
Now, of course, Democrats.
We're gonna go. I hate them, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about it.
It's all they seem to be able to talk about. And meanwhile, Chelsea Handler called her a miserable moron. And the always classy ladies of The View, they even attacked her wardrobe. I didn't know that they were such fashion experts on that show, but take a look.
I was distracted by Marjorie Taylor Greene's jacket.
Oh my God!
It looked like she skinned my puppy.
Yeah.
I was very. Alyssa, yeah. There's Herbie not being pleased by this look.
It was like a little Cruella DeVille.
I could see it now, the fashion collections of joyless Behar. Anyway, here to respond, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is with us. I personally loved every moment of it. I'll tell you why. Because every 2 and 4 years, and they did it in this last election, Democrats lie and say that Republicans want dirty air and water. They want to throw Granny and Grandpa over a cliff. They want to take away Social Security. They're racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, transphobic, and it goes on. So, the Republicans in unison, and you were pretty loud. You had a seat in the back saying, not true. What did you think of Joe Biden engaging that?
Well, I thought it was pretty impressive that the president would enter the people's house and try to lie to the American people about the economy, the border, and even ignore the fact that he allowed the Chinese spy balloon to spy on America. But when he continued the lie, accusing Republicans of preparing to cut Social Security and Medicare, we couldn't take it. So I, along with my colleagues, were calling him out. I think I was just the loudest one because I stood up and screamed liar. And the reason why I did that, Shawn, is because they have used my image and my name as leading the effort in that, when we have not had one single meeting in the GOP conference talking about cutting Social Security and Medicare. Joe Biden is a liar. I represent the American people, and I was honored to be able to call him the liar that he is in the people's house and not allow him to get away with it.
Do you have any reaction to the fashion experts, the fashion icons on The View?
Well, I have to say, Shawn, occasionally I get yelled at by old white women, and I always know that they watch The View because those are some nasty women on that show, and they have no right to insult anyone's fashion. I was wearing a wool coat, actually, and it's one of my favorite coats because I got it in Wyoming when I was campaigning against and raising money to beat Liz Cheney. And I was happy to wear it to the State of the Union last night because it simply went with my dress. So, I'll challenge the women on The View anytime for a debate because
I'm bored right now. All right. I didn't watch the State of the Union. I'm not going to say I've never been interested in it, but as I've gotten older, as I've learned, it's a big crap show what they do with the State of the Union. They don't really give the American people anything. There's more empty promises. And you notice in that clip that Biden kept mentioning what I did more than my predecessor. My predecessor left this deficit. It always ties back to Trump with the Democratic Party, and that's basically what you see today. I believe there has been some indictments with regards to a case against Trump up in New York. Go forward. What this whole thing, and Mike Pence, if I'm not mistaken, got subpoenaed. Yeah, he got subpoenaed by special counsel overseeing Trump probes. What's happening, guys, and what you're basically seeing is when the presidential election comes up, and I believe this because it's just so much of this is happening at the rate that it's going. 2023 is the year when really the presidential campaign season kicks off, because at this point, it's usually the year before is when all the nominees get together. They start campaigning across the country with different parties. So they're talking about Pence being subpoenaed for his role in January 6th. What they're trying to do essentially is to keep Donald Trump from running for re-election. That's all this is about. Now, I'm not a fan necessarily of Donald Trump. At the same time, Trump, I can say, because I'm a person that looks at everything, Trump's tenure as president, emotional stuff aside, was not that bad. Was actually, in terms of policies and so forth, his policies did not necessarily hurt Black people. It didn't. It didn't. If we're being real, he didn't. On the other hand, if we look at someone whose tenure, especially as a senator, uh, that he lived, as a senator from Delaware, being in the Senate for almost 40 something years, being for segregation, being a Dixiecrat, under the tutorship of Strom Thurmond and Jesse Helms, and who's the other Dixiecrats that you had, Roy Farbers from Arkansas, James Eastland out of Mississippi. These were Biden's mentors. What's up, Derek? These were all Biden's mentors. So I look at it, Biden has not been a great president. And another thing, I talked about this Tuesday, a lot of people don't want Kamala. I think a lot of people are unsure about Kamala Harris coming back as vice president. Now, they can always, because when you vote, there can always be another vice president. It doesn't have to be the nominee under the president. They're not one together. They're not on the same. They are not on the same option. You can always select a different vice president or president, y'all. But I'm hearing the Democrats want to dump her. Shout out to TD Hip Hop. He did a video where there was where he showed evidence and points where there were people who are, and it's even Elizabeth Warren has even stated, they made her double back, but she kind of was like not feeling, hinting that she wasn't feeling Kamala Harris. And a lot of people aren't. But yeah, they subpoenaed Pence for his role in the January 6th riot that took place out in D.C., the attack on the Capitol. Peace and blessings, Derek Bill. I'm sorry, I got stuff on my phone, an alert. Shout out to One Who Cares. Y'all are all in. But yeah, I did this late live stream. I just wanted to talk about those things, guys. And I know you probably have seen a side to me that I normally don't show. Computer robots, I thank you for being here. I didn't even tell y'all, but hit the like, share, and subscribe button because I just was going in. I know I was running late. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button now. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button now and that notification bell. Yeah, I know everybody's got to get up early for work. Y'all, I mean, y'all got to get like me. Y'all got to get the 4-day court job I got, which is not bad. Better known as CreoleBlends.com. Get you some Creole seasoning. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. No, it goes great with every dish. I also asked, it's still my birthday week. If you could donate to the items at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen, support this channel. As you know, it's not monetized. Um, I'm gonna have an announcement in the next couple of days so about this live stream that we've been doing for over almost 3 years now. Because remember, it's when I started coming back doing the shows and programs like this uh, with StreamYard, and then I never did Zoom, but with StreamYard, with Shawn, that started in like 2020 because at that time the pandemic came in. I think it would started in like March or April, and that's when we started doing the show. So we're coming up on 3 years, 3 years of doing this. So wow, but that's all I got to say for tonight. This is how you deal with things. And even though he didn't come on, y'all buy Shawn's The Woman Crisis available on Amazon, y'all, and check out his live stream. Tomorrow, go and pick up The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby on Kindle, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and also buy songs, Gotta Get Her Up in Video Soul. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thank y'all.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the floor, baby. Yeah, gotta get on the floor. Come on, baby, gotta get on the floor, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the